Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the inspiration space of Youth Reference Hub initiative, where I've been receiving a lot of inspiring young people in Africa and worldwide. And today I'm very honored to have Lukeno Hangala from Namibia. She is a professional in the field of international law, humanitarian work, and civic engagement. Lukeno Hangala is a lawyer and a co-founder of Southern African Refugee Protection, and her role involves daily operation, stakeholder engagement, legal research, and advocating for refugee rights. We are very honored to have you, Lukeno. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Rogerio.
Awesome. So,
And
Lukeno.
good day, ladies and gentlemen.
Great. Great. So, Lukeno, it's once again good to have you here and to share your inspirational story with young Africans, with young people worldwide in Africa. So, can we start by sharing your most impactful experience while working in the field of international law and humanitarian work of the past 6 years?
Okay, so basically, I didn't quite plan to enter in the field of humanitarian response and refugee management. I actually entered the field after I did my law degree and after doing some internships in an international organization. After my internship, I realized that there was a need for refugees to be represented in the country. There was no NGO particularly focused on refugee and asylum seeking and migration matters. So I decided to co-found Southern Africa Refugees Protection with Ms. Joanna Kalkolwa. It is an organization which caters for the social and legal protection of refugees, asylum seekers, returnees, internally resident, and other persons of concern. So one of my most impactful experience, to say the least, was to work with thousands of individuals, particularly refugees and asylum seekers. And how I worked with them was our main focus is to empower refugees and asylum seekers by educating them on their rights as refugees in the country of asylum, as well as just to inform them on their basic human rights, just on the basis of being a human being. That was one of them. The other one was, the other focus is to advocate for their rights. We do that by engaging in dialogues with stakeholders, particularly the government, other CSO partners, and individuals and entities that might be interested or have an effect on the refugee matters as well as the asylum seekers. So one of the main impact I feel I have achieved was to help thousands of refugees. And it's not always just via dialogue and advocacy and giving legal advice. I also, at one point in my life, facilitated protection mainstreaming for international organization, where I assisted with referring cases for durable solutions, for further protection interventions. By protection interventions, I mean like protection from harm, for example, like custody issues, gender-based violence, additional medical attention, stuff like that. So I also, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Take your time.
Yes, I also assisted with family reunification, access to food and shelter. Basically, that's a part of the work we've mostly been engaged with. Yes.
Yeah. No, that's a huge and amazing work so far. You've been like providing complete service. I mean, basic service for the migrants. And one question for me is like, how easy was that? Your relationship with the government? How easy was that? Was something easy, or you faced some challenge in the beginning and you find a way to go around?
So in the beginning, there was quite a significant challenge gaining trust of the government, and also having them open up to work with us and willing to work with us. And that's basically not only an issue for our organization, but it has been for other NGOs, civic society organizations in Namibia. And part of our work and what we do is we regularly engage with other CSOs, NGOs, various conferences and workshops in a dialogue with the government in order to build stronger relations with the stakeholders, with the government. So it has been difficult, but it was a step-by-step effort, and also constant assurance to government to inform them of what we're doing, why we're doing what we're doing, and what we want from them, what type of support we need from them. So it was quite difficult, but now I believe we're at a good space.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. So, balancing legal and advocacy work can be really demanding sometimes. And my question now is like, how do you maintain your motivation and drive while navigating the sometimes challenging and emotional charged aspect of refugees protection? When you face,
Sorry?
I say that balancing legal advocacy work can be demanding sometimes. So I would like to know, how do you maintain your motivation and the drive while navigating in sometimes challenging and emotional shared aspect of refugees protections? How do you go about it?
Okay. Yeah, so basically, when it comes to my career choice of being a legal professional and advocacy, the main focus as a legal representative of someone is to help someone and to show empathy. And so is advocacy. The purpose of advocacy is to emphasize on, is to evoke empathy and sympathy from the others, and also to help those you're advocating for. So I don't believe it's too much of a friction between the two during the tenure of my work. But yes, some cases do get a bit too sensitive. For example, I once dealt with child abandonment cases, and those cases were quite sensitive, but you must be able to remove your emotions from the scenario. You must put boundaries when it comes to your sympathy and emotions. And also you must always take time out for self-care. So that's the best way I balance that. However, I feel legal work and advocacy usually go hand in hand, especially when it comes to humanitarian law and human rights protection.
Yeah. So, looking to the future, what do you think is gonna be like the most critical area for progress and improvement in terms of refugee rights and protection, based on your experience so far?
Okay, based on my experience, I've observed that almost 90% of refugees have issues with joblessness and unemployment, and having the right paperwork to gain unemployment in the host country, mainly because most refugees, when they flee their countries of origin and habitually, they leave their most important documentation behind. So it's very hard to prove that yes, they are qualified for this and they are qualified for that. Another issue that leads to unemployment and poverty among the refugee population, especially the youth, is the fact that there is actually lack of funding when it comes to higher education and vocational training opportunities for refugees and asylum seekers. So my focus is to help fund and gain access to funding for refugees' education and vocational training. This will assist with self-reliance and initiating projects and jobs for themselves. So it will help improve their opportunities for self-reliance initiatives and also employability. Yes. And also another issue when it comes to refugees being unable to gain employment is because they do require work permits, and work permits do cost quite
how much is this?
A few amounts of dollars. Yes. So, and when refugees are in a host community, host country, they usually do not have much money. They don't have access to economic, opportunities. So where will they get money to pay for a work permit in order to obtain a job? So those are some of the issues. So perhaps when it comes to policy formulation with regards to refugees, requirements for employment, perhaps the government can look at that. And it's our work as a Southern African Refugees Protection and advocates to engage in dialogue and assist in having better measures favoring refugees and asylum seekers in that regard.
Wow.
Yes.
So I think you are doing a very nice job. When you are a refugee or you are migrating for another country, you face almost the lack of everything, and sometimes it's really hard to find a way to survive. And having a network like yours, it's really impactful on refugees' life. So can you highlight a specific success story or milestone achieved by your organization so far that you are really proud of?
Okay, so one of the milestones that as I have stated was we have managed quite a few cases, not a few, but thousands of cases, individual cases. We helped refugees and asylum seekers be released from jail after they've been arrested for and accused of being illegal immigrants. We assisted them in gaining access to refugee status determination and also having appeals. Now I'm just going deep in it, and also being able to appeal on claims because most of them do not quite understand or they don't know how to present themselves for when they are interviewed, because sometimes they're nervous, sometimes they don't understand the language, sometimes they just feel, I don't know my right. And yes, so we give them a chance, we help them and encourage them to represent themselves better. The other cases were, one of the achievements we had was gaining certain individual or having certain individuals gain access to secondary healthcare. By secondary healthcare, I mean like specialized services such as having treatment by a cardiologist, a neurologist, which is usually unaffordable in our country. And in the beginning, the healthcare providers used to state that no, they are a refugee, they have to pay for that specific healthcare. So we advocated and helped sensitize healthcare providers, civil servants on the rights of refugees and their situation and why they deserve specific services and not other specific services. We also taught refugees and asylum seekers how they could access, the ombudsman, affordable, a legal representation, because some of the legal issues refugees face is access to affordable legal representation in the court of law. So we assist in that regard. Yes, yes, but our achievements are still ongoing. Still ongoing. Yes, so yes, but basically most of our work is legal services in terms of legal advice and advocacy. So yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations, Lukeno Hangala.
Thank you.
That's a really amazing milestones you've been reaching so far through your work in back in Namibia. So, Lukeno, it's really it's some question that I really like to do. Everyone who I interview here in this space, I'd like to know your mantra. What's your mantra? Because there is a time that you face setbacks, you feel upset. There's a time that you feel like, okay, now I have to give up of this and this work I'm doing because any situation happen that keep you like sad or unwilling to continue to pursue your mission and so on. But what
Mm,
is your mantra? 6 years is too much. It's like
mm,
it says persistence, but of
mm.
course there is something behind this. Uh, uh, persistence. What is your mantra? Please share with us.
Okay, so I think having passion in serving people and
Mhm,
seeing how rewarding it feels whenever you help someone um, from one point, reach from one point to the next, is what has always been fulfilling to me. Um, also, I am just quite passionate about my work, about law, about the whole refugee law situation. Um, so that drove me, that drives me. I have been born with patience as well, patience and ambition. So
okay.
yes, so knowing that I'm helping someone is quite rewarding to me. So I don't always get so disappointed. Um, Another thing that keeps me motivated and keeps me going is the fact that I don't always, as a professional, I don't necessarily just focus on Southern African refugees, protection, refugee matters. I also branch out. I do other skills. I go for other training. For
Mhm,
example, in this past few weeks, I've been writing articles on behalf of a website, but I cannot
mhm,
disclose which one and what are the nature of the articles right now. So
mhm,
I'm versatile in my skills, and I keep working on that versatility.
mhm,
And hopefully in the near future, I'll be more than an advocate for refugees and,
mhm.
you know, refugee management professional or
Yeah,
expert in refugee management. Hopefully, I'll perhaps work in other fields of law because law is actually also a versatile field.
yeah,
And yeah, that is also what keeps me going.
nice.
Yeah,
You are very
yeah,
positive. You
just
are very positive.
diversifying myself
Yeah, you're
also
very
while
positive.
still, yeah,
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 very holistic woman.
yes,
It's like keep you navigating on
yes.
different
You must keep
situations.
navigating, although you're
Yeah.
going in the same.
I understand.
Yeah,
That's really nice.
yeah.
At this time, I can imagine that someone maybe watching this show can be motivated to start like the very same mission that you're doing back in Namibia. So, what advice
Mhm.
would you give to this individual or organization looking to get involved in humanitarian work or refugee protection based on your own experience? I mean, so what lesson learned?
One of the most important traits you must have in order to venture into humanitarian work is empathy. If you don't have empathy, then it might be difficult for you to deal with, to work with people, because humanitarian work is all about working directly and in close relations with people. So that's number one. And also you must study and venture in the field which relates to humanitarian work. It could be law, could be social work, it can even be medicine. I mean, the qualifications and careers that venture into that direction of humanitarian work is unlimited. There's even engineers who work as shelter, shelter, sorry, I forgot the term, but they design the shelters for refugees, for example, and displaced person. Yes, so most careers do also go in the direction of humanitarian work. So just make sure that what you are going to study, you love it as well, and you're good at it as well, because it's not just about law, you know, international relations, social work. It's not just about that. And political science. No, you can still help people through other means. As a doctor, nurse, you know, Doctors Without Borders, WHO. Yes, so, but empathy is one of the most important things when it comes to working with people in humanitarian work. That's the main focus.
Can you translate this term empathy in practical ways? What do you mean? How someone can put it in practice?
Okay. The empathy is a way to understand how someone feels, how someone relates, where someone is coming from, and why they're acting the way they're acting. It's not necessary to feel what that person is feeling, but more like putting yourself in their shoes. Because, okay, if you're feeling what someone else is feeling, that's sympathy. But empathy is being able to understand how someone feels, being able to respect those feelings, put yourself in their shoes, and try to understand from their angle why they're going through what they're going. Because the opposite of empathy is apathy, and apathy is like, no, I don't care about your feelings. I'm making this decision, and that's that. You know, so that is quite a bad stance or a difficult stance to rely on when it comes to apathy. You cannot have apathy when you're working in humanitarian response. So that's part of it. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Lukeno. Here's the key point: empathy and keep learning. These are 2 points that Lukeno Hangala shared now. If you want to work in the humanitarian field, wherever you are, please make sure you have empathy and you never stop learning, because it's a really complex area to navigate. So Lukeno, we want to thank you for your time. We've learned a lot from you regarding the humanitarian and refugee work that you're doing in Namibia. And hopefully through your inspiring story, we are able to inspire also other young people worldwide that would like to do the same with like you're doing, or any other activity. But so far, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rogerio. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. I hope you learned from me.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay, bye-bye. See you next time. We will have one more person here to interview and learn with. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.